Well, hi guys, my name's Ben from the Australian Paramedical College, and it's my great pleasure today to be catching up with Wendy Donohue. Wendy is a former APC student and graduate of the Diploma here, and we're just going to find out how Wendy and what she's been up to since studying with APC. Wendy, thanks for your time. How are you going today?
I'm doing really well, thanks, Ben, for having me.
No worries. Now, you're over in WA?
Yeah, I certainly am.
Great. And you've got quite an interesting background because you're a registered nurse. And
I
then
am.
Yeah, and we were just talking before, you've gone through and got the emergency healthcare qualifications, paramedicine, and it's been quite a long journey for you. But can you explain your current role, and then we'll kind of backtrack and see how you learn about how you got there.
All right. So my current role, I work on a mine site in the Pilbara of Western Australia. I've been there since January of last year, working as an agency to begin with. They were wanting registered nurse / registered paramedic. And through that time, it was about 6 months after working as an agency nurse / paramedic or medic at that stage, because I wasn't a registered paramedic. I applied for a permanent position with the company, and I was successful over June last year. So I'm coming up to my first anniversary of having a permanent position on a mine site, which I'm hoping, cross fingers, all goes well, I won't ever have to move on to anywhere else, because I'm quite happy to just stay put now in the company that I'm working for. It's a great company. I love the role because it's 8 days of hard, solid work, and then I have a week off. So it's very, very good in that respect.
It sounds
a great lifestyle.
Sounds like solid work.
Yeah.
96 hours. So how does that work out? How do you get through 96 hours in a week?
Well, it's 8 days on, 6 days off, really. So 96 hours, it's a 5 o'clock start, and you work through till 5 o'clock at night. So it's a full 12 hours for the full time that you're on site, basically. So I fly in on a Wednesday morning, which has only just changed. It used to be a Tuesday morning, but it's now Wednesdays, which is a little bit nicer. We get an hour's extra sleep before catching a plane. So I arrive at site it works out to about 7:30 in the morning. So I'm catching a plane around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, fly to site and start work straight away. So it's all handover day with my back-to-back. And so standard, handing over a clinic where you're counting scheduled drugs, making sure that the medication count's correct, handing over any ongoing treatments, any other issues that we've had, if there's been medical emergencies, that's also handed over just in case there's ongoing stuff that needs to be relayed through that the following week that I'm on. And during handover, we still do alcohol and drug testing and that sort of stuff. So it's a very, very long day, and we continue working until 5 in the afternoon. And then it's 5 till 5 every day, right through, no day off, no Sunday rest. It's Wednesday to Wednesday. So there's your 96 hours straight up.
Wow.
And then if there is an emergency and you are called out of your bed, then you may actually do a few extra hours, which I've actually had to do over time. We've had snake bites, we've had illnesses where my nursing skills have actually come in handy, as well as my paramedicine skills. So in that respect, I utilise both of my skills. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. So now, Wendy, I'm interested to know what your journey was doing the diploma and what it was that led you to study with APC, and then maybe how that opened up the avenues now to where you are today.
All right. So a very long time ago, I decided to leave the health system, and I was very fortunate to be exposed to a job opportunity offshore. And so I worked offshore for over 12 months as a registered nurse. And then there was a sway in thinking within the mining industry that nurses could look after people within a hospital situation, but not necessarily pre-hospital. So they wanted to employ paramedics or medics because it was the days before you could be a registered paramedic. So I was removed basically off a vessel, given 2 days notice sort of thing to pack your bags and move on. And I previously to being a nurse, I had some training with St John's as an industrial paramedic, but I'd let all that go by the wayside while I was madly studying at university to be a nurse. So when that all happened, I went, I really need to get my paramedic qualifications back. And so I started looking and researching where I could do some more training. I was fortunate to get some recognition of prior learning for my nursing qualifications and my St John's stuff, and I got my diploma for recognition of prior learning, which was a very long process, gathering all that information. So going down the RPL, we think it's all easy, but it's not as easy as what we think. We've got to collect a lot of information. So one of the words of advice is if you've done any type of that training, always keep your information close to hand, because you never know when you're going to require it again, especially if you're going down the RPL side. So I had my diploma and I went looking for something that little bit more, something that could help me further working offshore, because I loved working offshore, loved the environment, even though it was a bit scary at times. So I went Googling basically, and APC came up. And they, at that time, back in 2015, they were offering an advanced care paramedicine course. So I applied and I got into the course. And from there, I liked it because I could still work and study at the same time. I liked the structure in that respect. I didn't have to give up work completely, because the only other course that was available at the time was through university. They wanted you to go full time. And I wasn't in a position where I could give up work for 12 months and go back to study. So APC gave me that flexibility to be able to work and study at the same time. And, you know, sometimes there was those times that I went, oh, this is all too hard. I was struggling to get assignments in on time, and it was good having the resources of talking with APC to make sure that they gave me a swift kick up the backside and said, come on, you can do it, and get those assignments under control. So it was really good in that way for the support. And then when it came to doing the practical and having to go to Queensland, good way of having a holiday. My husband had the holiday. I studied in the for the whole 10 days on the clinics, but I made some really, really great friends in that class. There were a few of us that were doing the advanced care paramedics course, and I'm in contact through Facebook with them still. I've got a friend that works over in the NHS over in London, and he's loving it. There was someone else that's over in the NHS ambulance service as well. She's loving that. And then a few that are still over in Queensland, and they are gone further on to their studies and that sort of stuff. So we're still even though it was 5 years ago, we still stay in contact with each other. So it's a group of friends that you never ever, like, even though you don't see them every day, you still have contact with them from time to time and know what's going on in their lives. So, yeah.
So would you have any other advice for current students, whether they be studying Diploma of Emergency Healthcare or the Healthcare Cert 4? What would you say to those starting out?
Starting out is, I think, one of the biggest things is making sure you've got structure. Make sure you have great time management. If you're doing online and face-to-face, it's really important to set that time for study. I know that life is really, really busy, but if you want to get through the course in great time and within the allotted time, then you need to make sure that you've got fantastic time management, have a good structure, write it all out in a calendar if you need to, write whatever the best way is for your learning skill. Is go for it. You've got nothing to lose. I mean, head down, bum up, get going, because the more people that we have out in this industry, the better and safer we're going to be, basically. So don't think you can't do it. If you've got that negative thought of, oh, this is all too hard, then you'll struggle. You just have to have that mindset, I can do this. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be for the rest of my life.
Fantastic. Great advice. Thanks so much, Wendy.
No
Hey,
worries.
that's all my questions for today. And
Cool.
I really appreciate your time and you sharing your experience and your wisdom. So thank you and all the best.
Okay, no worries. And I look forward to everyone coming out into the industry, and I'd love to meet them all.
Great. Thanks,
All right.
Wendy.
Bye.